assessment of what needs to happen here at Metro?
It was more than frank, it was withering. He gave us a very clear, very honest, unvarnished truth type assessment, and told us that we have a lot of issues we need to deal with them immediately, and set some priorities for us.
Yeah, I mean,
He looked at our financial structure and said it was basically unsustainable. We had major issues that we had to deal with financially, and it's something that is not a big surprise. When we have a $189 million shortfall in our budget, we clearly have a financial structure that we cannot continue to work with, and suggested that looking at some of these smaller issues might be the way to deal with part of it. He did very definitely single out cost recovery on rail and bus and Metro Access, and say you need to find better ways to deal with how these are subsidized and how much of this is paid for with fares. And he said, particularly with respect to Metro Access, that we could not continue to have the continuing increases in costs for our paratransit service. We had to find ways to constrain those cost increases. And that is that our problem is not just technological, it's not just training, it is in fact much broader than that. It reaches to the culture and the fact that all of us have to live safety, and we have to be accepting of people bringing safety issues up and saying, I'm concerned about something. Rail riders are subsidizing bus riders, and rail and bus riders are subsidizing paratransit riders at a very, very great extent. And is that sustainable over a long period of time? We've had about a 25% per year growth rate in the subsidy to paratransit. Can we continue to do that and still run our normal bus and rail services? And he said he didn't think so.
Peter, do you feel like
And I guess ultimately, were you satisfied with this report? Were you satisfied with what David Gunn was able to find in his report, or were there other things that you wish he would have brought up?
Dave Gunn always brings up more than you wish he would. He's one of those people who knows how to find all the issues that are out there. He puts them in front of you in a very frank way. He did them with unvarnished language. The board listened very, very carefully, asked a lot of questions, had a lot of comments. We learned an awful lot from this, and could he have covered every issue we possibly have? Of course not. Nobody can, no matter how much time you spend. But he certainly covered an enormous amount in a very short period of time, and gave us some good guidance as to what issues do we really need to focus on.
Did you talk at all about maybe trimming the fat with the agency, any sort of maybe potential layoffs, positions that could be cut, any sort of cost-cutting measures on that scale?
Actually, his concern was just the opposite. His concern was, have we already cut too much? Have we taken some of our capabilities and our skills and gotten rid of them? And should we at this point be doing just the opposite, finding people to do the jobs that really need to be done? Because we are not a brand new transit system. We are in the throes of having to do major maintenance, major overhaul, major rehabilitation, and you can't do that without skilled people. To rail. He did point out what the imbalances were in the subsidy changes, and what the imbalances were in the cost recoveries, which is the amount of the cost that is paid for by the passengers. He did identify the very same items for Metro Access that we have out to public hearing right now. He said you do have to deal with getting closer to what the federal regulations require, as opposed to the higher levels of service and lower fares that Metro currently charges. So it's service beyond 3/4 of a mile. Right now we charge a flat fee for the use of Metro Access, and in fact we can charge substantially more. And the whole issue of eligibility. Are the people who are riding truly eligible for the entire ride? Or could they perhaps have conditional eligibility, and you would take them to the closest rail station, which is another option. Those are all out for public hearing right now, and we're anxious to hear what people have to say. He focused on the same things and just said, this one portion of your budget is so driving your increased subsidy needs that it's hurting your other operations, your rail and your bus.